Pulse Network. It's social TV.
Good afternoon. Welcome to CIOInsight on the Pulse Network. I'm your host, Natalie Seeger, and we have, of course,
Eric Lundquist.
Usually on every episode, we got Eric Lundquist here.
Well, welcome, Natalie.
Yeah,
You're new. It's happy to see you.
Not the usual. You know, you have Tyler before.
You're right.
You have Ashley here. So
Right?
mixing it up a little bit.
We're totally ready for that.
Are you ready for it?
Because we're a mix-up CIO group. Don't
Yes,
worry.
Yes. You know, this is a show where you get as much information as you can. You get to be a great CIO. Am I correct?
That's the idea behind the whole thing.
Yes. And we also have Ashley. Ashley is connected in South Carolina. How you doing, Ashley?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, thank you. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. So we're going to get started. Am I right about this? We're going to start with the news of the week.
That's right. Ashley always gives us a rundown on the news of the week every week. How are you doing, Ashley?
I am great. That's right, you guys. We have some pretty big headlines in the news this week, and let's just go ahead and kick things off. An official hearing has been set. The federal judge overseeing the case against AT&T's proposed $39 billion acquisition of T-Mobile has asked both sides to discuss the prospects of a settlement on September 21st. So that's just a couple weeks from now. Now, regardless of the outcome of this hearing, AT&T might find themselves back in the courtroom pretty soon. That's because Sprint has filed a lawsuit against AT&T, claiming that its plan to buy T-Mobile USA is illegal. Not a big surprise here. Obviously, Sprint is upset. Now, AT&T is claiming that this $39 billion merger will help it provide more capacity, but as we're all aware by now, this merger would actually remove a significant competitive force from the market, which is obviously going to shrink the four big telecom companies down to three. So, guys, if I had to take your votes, what do you think? You think it's going to be pushed through, or do you think the FCC is going to hold this one back come September 21st?
Well, Ashley, I do think this is going to be held back, but this is one acquisition that's really been tough to follow. I mean, I really didn't think AT&T was going to run into as many problems as they did with T-Mobile. Clearly, Sprint's been upset all along. You know, they're the number 3 company out there. They really felt that if this acquisition had gone through, that, you know, they'd be number 4, 5, and 6 pretty fast. So it's really difficult to say what's going to happen in this. AT&T's been out there talking about all the jobs that will be created if this acquisition goes through. On the other side, Sprint's talking about all the jobs that will be lost if this acquisition goes through. I think it's going to end up as, it's the start of football season, so I think this one's going to sort of bounce back and forth for a couple months, maybe more than a couple months. But AT&T, I think, was surprised by the pushback, and that they are now going to sort of regroup and try to come back at it as and not just the benefits for the consumers, but also the benefits for the job market at large. Obviously, everyone's talking about jobs right now, Ashley.
Right. No, totally understand. Now, while we're on the subject of AT&T, I just had to show this to everybody. I got this card in the mail. Let me bring it up to you. It actually has a legit real stamp on it. And it looks addressed, but obviously you can tell this is just printed. And then Hallmark is on the back, the emblem. I'm like, who am I getting a card? This is weird. Open the card. It's from AT&T. And inside, they actually gave me a 25% off for accessories. Now, the card obviously says, thanks for being a customer. We're so happy you chose AT&T to provide you with your services. Now, I don't know, Eric, if they're trying to win me over in any sort of the way.
You don't think that was the president of AT&T personally sending you a card, Ashley, and that you're the only person in the United States that got this discount offer?
Yeah, right.
Well, here's what's interesting I found about this. When we're in a world where everything is going digital, we have online applications. They could have easily just provided me a free online application that was a coupon on my phone, right? But instead, they take the time to send out a card that was printed with my name on it. And actually, someone took the time to attach a physical stamp to it. So I'm just, I'm intrigued. I'm not really sure what to make of it just yet.
Well, you know, the post office has really been in trouble. They're trying to go before Congress and get some more money again.
Right.
They're running out. So maybe they could add, you know, a little box of roses or something there with you, Ashley.
Right.
Are you an AT&T customer, Ashley?
I am.
Oh, so so they've been sending it to all the AT&T customers? Is that what they're doing?
I guess. I'm not sure, but moving on, enough about me.
Yeah.
Yahoo CEO Carol Bartz was fired over the phone. That has got to sting a little bit. They named their chief financial officer, Tim Morris, as the interim CEO. Now, as Yahoo has been beset with financial troubles for the better part of the last decade. And according to Enterprise Strategy Group Vice President Brian Babineau, the numbers did the talking here. Yahoo's performance in the last 6 months has shown a massive separation in value between Google and Yahoo on a relative basis. Now, Eric, this is interesting, but it's now the second announcement of a change at the CEO position at a major IT company in the last 2 weeks. As you all know, Apple co-founder CEO Steve Jobs announced his departure August 24th, and now it's the third major news story in a month involving upheaval at long-established IT leading companies. This is referring to HP. August 18th, they revealed strategic changes in direction by totally dropping its personal computing and WebOS hardware business and then acquiring enterprise software provider Autonomy for $11 billion. So I don't know, we got some big headlines going on here with this one.
Well, it's it's really just an example of the upheaval going on. Carol Bartz came in from Autodesk as someone who was going to bring, management and structure to essentially Jerry Yang's unstructured company. Yahoo was one of these things everyone sort of wondered what it was. Originally it was lots of people going individually, trying to go in and evaluate sites, then became Yahoo, then became the email process. And she was really supposed to bring in, adult supervision. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to do it fast enough as Google, and I don't think she ever took Facebook seriously enough either. That Yahoo could have become, coulda, shoulda, woulda, but Yahoo had the groups, had a lot of connections with users, and they probably could have at least thought of themselves evolving into that Facebook era. There just wasn't I'm sure she looked at it and said, well, there's no revenues in Facebook, so why should I do it? Sure. I don't think, the chairman called her up and fired her over the phone. I mean, come on. You got to be able to show up in the office of the CEO and say, that's, sorry, Carol, it's just not working out. No tears. She's going to get plenty of money. All these people, they get a pile of money. It's not like you're getting laid off, from the 7-Eleven or something. But she just was not able to really get a handle both on what Yahoo was going to be as a company and be able to define it for the investor community. Sure. And also, you got to remember, there's a big ownership piece of Yahoo that's from China and also from Japan. And the word is that she never was quite able to connect with with those owners, also those foreign owners. And I think you're really going to see Yahoo become a acquisition candidate. Pretty late at this point for someone to get in and redefine it and say, okay, well now we're going to take on Google. Well, you don't want to do that. Facebook, we're not going to do that. So what are you going to do? You really have to become an acquisition candidate. Remember, Microsoft at one point was going to make a run for them, and they could be there again. You never know, Natalie.
I know. It's amazing how many of my friends have gone from Yahoo accounts to now Gmail accounts. I mean, I've seen it across the board. I mean, I don't really know many people that have a Yahoo email account or any type of account with Yahoo anymore. So it's interesting how the tides have changed and how they're trying to change a tide as well within their company.
Well, the knock on it is that Your grandmother has the AOL account.
Right.
Your mom or dad have the Yahoo account.
And then you
have
have
the
a Gmail,
and
right.
the Facebook account. So
I know, it's
maybe
true.
Just
It's
generations passing through
I mean,
here,
things
Natalie.
are changing. I mean, I can't get over the phone call, though. Something you brought up, Ashley, about the phone call. Getting fired over, I just, for the CEO.
Well, it's true. Eric says it's not true, but she actually wrote it herself in a memo
email,
to
right?
her employees that she was just fired over the phone and that it was a pleasure
Wow.
working with them. So, but anyways, enough about
Yeah.
Carol Bartz over there. We wish her the best, but something interesting that came up in the headlines today as well is that Groupon is considering a delay to its long-awaited initial public offering, supposedly amid turmoil in the stock market. Now, earlier this summer, Groupon was aiming for an IPO at a valuation of near $30 billion and has been considering a roadshow for potential investors next week. Well, that roadshow now appears to be off the table. So what's interesting here, you guys, is that Groupon may have screwed themselves a little bit. In a recent memo from the company's chief executive, Andrew Mason, it appears the company may have violated the mandatory quiet period that applies to companies waiting to go public. We've seen this before with Google. Now, the SEC obviously forbids stock promoting, so they might have to amend their IPO filings, et cetera, and it could end up taking a lot longer. So pretty interesting development there.
Yeah, well, I think Groupon missed their window of opportunity. LinkedIn had a great IPO. Groupon, first off, people didn't really know what it was. Then say, well, it's, this, getting the discount, and is that really a good way to do it? They have a very large workforce. When you look at the number of people who work at Groupon, it's a lot of people selling a lot of coupons, a lot of discount coupons, and some of the customers that use it, all of a sudden you're at a little restaurant, everyone shows up, you lose money.
Right.
It's a question of how do your customers make money out of it? And Groupon's a sort of a loosey-goosey bunch, I think, Natalie.
Right. Well, I mean, they're competing obviously with Living Social.
Living
as
Social,
well.
and now Google is more and more talking about getting into the coupon business, discount business.
All kinds of
Facebook
companies
talking
are,
about,
yeah.
so they could end up with more competitors than they realize.
Right,
I think they
right.
missed their window, but who
Yeah,
am I?
we'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. We don't know.
All right, guys, we have one last quick story here before we have to cut this fun headline party short. Apple is seeking a product security manager. This is not a joke. This is very serious. The new position was posted on Apple's job board after the loss of yet another iPhone prototype. This was an iPhone 5, which went missing in San Francisco last month. Last year, if you remember, an Apple engineer lost a prototype iPhone 4 in a bar that ended up being featured on Gizmodo, the technology blog. Now, although Apple might be the brunt of jokes about the repeat iPhone losses, the new job listing is definitely not fun and games. Among the number of high-level security requirements, the new candidate must have at least 5 years experience in the security field, an advanced degree in risk management, and a strong understanding of international security standards. eWeek Labs, one of our labs analysts over there, did an awesome commentary on it. If you want to head over and check it out, it's great. It talks and discusses about the phone that went missing. They actually called the police, and the police raided a house in a San Francisco community looking for this iPhone. And he made a really interesting point that our tax dollars, if we were to go down to the station and be like, oh shoot, I lost my phone in a bar last night, they would never help us go track this phone down. So a very interesting article if you want to head over to eWeek Labs. It was written by PJ Connolly.
Right. Well, no one ever got more publicity for losing something than an
right.
iPhone. Now, if you really want to get a lot of publicity, you lose stuff all over the place. You can't get anything. Apple, they even talk about it. They get the cops to come in. They get someone to march around. This position, I think, Apple is notorious for trying to really keep everything secret within the company. It's also about terms of trying to create a privacy environment for the Apple products themselves. So I applaud it. Much needed job.
Yeah, we'll see we'll see who gets that job, right? So thank you so much, Ashley, in South Carolina. You're right? You're in South Carolina and Charlotte, right?
North Carolina.
Carolina.
Across the street from Bank of America, right?
Someone told me South Carolina. I don't know where I got that. Thank you so much, Ashley, and as well as Eric. We're going to continue on. We're going to take a little break, but after this break, we got Jason Brooks, who's the editor-in-chief of eWeekLabs.com. So stay tuned for that.
The Pulse Network. It's social TV.